Greetings et bienvenue, lovely viewers, to our dominion. You see before you your humble host, Relix the Vice. It is now the time of year humanity refers to as Christmas. Yes, 'tis the season to be jolly, as families make haste to gather around the idea of a feast and the exchange of gifts. And for many, Christmas revolves around religious subjects. Yet, the holiday that is celebrated in the modern world is not the way it always was. What is known as Christmas is changed dramatically from its former self, primarily in terms of its symbol, the affable being named Saint Nicholas, or Santa Claus. As humanity thoroughly enjoys emphasizing, duality was also a theme in this holiday's mythology. While Santa Claus is the embodiment of its pleasantries, dispensing gifts and food to well-behaved children, there was one far darker. There was once an elf named Krampus who would also venture out on Christmas Eve. This cloven monstrosity traveled not to reward and give. His role was to punish and take. Up until the last century, especially in European and Slavic culture, what would steer children to compliance was far more severe than the contemporary threats. Krampus was infamous for not only supplying the coal to unpleasant children, but also dispensing copious amounts of punishment, more often than not with his favorite birchwood rod. Santa Claus would deliver gifts and treats to children who were good of heart, and Krampus would to those who were not dole out beatings, coal, and the occasional trip to hell in a bag. It can already be heard. Well, what happened to him? Why do we not have warnings of this demon every season? Dear learner, modern times have happened, similar as with many legends of times past. In like manner with fairy tales from ancient times, the lore of Christmas has become far more tame and light-hearted. This mostly took place in Europe during the previous century, some governments going as far as outright banning the acknowledgement of the demon. Yet despite his sharp incline, the legend is not without hope, luckily. There has been a resurgence in the celebrations of Krampus. While not as widespread as the saint himself, he has been acknowledged increasingly in the region where he originated from, with certain countries being of note, such as Bavaria and Poland. It is understandable that most of you, particularly if you reside in North America, have come to know of Krampus by way of the recent film in which he was featured as the antagonist, a force of nature, as it were. The tale of Krampus in the real world has never been as prevalent as the Jolly Man himself. However, it has waned to the point of being anemic. While the resurgence has helped dear old Krampus, he will never be the staple of European culture that he once was, simply becoming an old tale in the same vein of Baba Yaga or the Boogeyman. This is fated to become a relic of a bygone time in humanity's colored lore. Nonetheless, it is not something to feel sorrow or remorse towards. Understand this is a course that many things have taken since the beginning of the history of mankind. And thus ends our overview of the legend known as Krampus. May you strive to find more about it for yourselves, as the surface of the legend has barely been scratched here. The amount of knowledge that I wish to give on this subject, however, has reached its conclusion. Remember who has taught this to you on this day. Relix the Vice bids you farewell, dear learner. Be kind, be wise, be gone.